Does children of Israel mean something? In many English translations, we see this wording of children of Israel. Is it implying something with the use of the word children? If we were looking for some type of hidden meaning behind it, we might wonder about maybe implications of dependence or of being naive or otherwise of being innocent. Is this really the case, though? Because just as with any issue of translations, the purpose of the English word is to serve as a tool to help us understand what the Hebrew is saying. So if we want to get at the root of what is going on, we need to look into what the Hebrew says, and we need to confirm whether that actually is present in the implications of the Hebrew word. So this is what we are going to look at. We are going to look at the word behind children, which is bnei. And one thing to point out about this word is that bnei is a masculine word. In Hebrew, nouns are either masculine or feminine, unlike in English. In English, the word children, of course, would be considered neuter or neutral. It does not imply masculine or feminine. But in Hebrew, this is not the case. That is not how the language works. Therefore, a more literal translation would be sons. Because of the nature of the language, this, of course, could be, in some cases, a group of men and women. But it is the masculine form. More literally, it is sons. And how do we see this word used? Of course, it is used in reference to the sons of Israel, or what we would have seen as children of Israel, such as with the gathering of all of the elders of the sons of Israel. This is a word that is used for literal sons, as we see with Aaron and his sons. Of course, the sons of Israel are also the literal offspring, the descendants of Jacob, also known as Israel. The word is also used to denote age, not just in the sense of youth. It can be used for any age, such as we see Moses was son of 80 year. We don't typically see this in most translations because they are not entirely literal. This is understandable that it wouldn't be, but it's something that's obscured by the fact that it's not literal. This is the same word being used, in this case, in the singular. In Hebrew, instead of saying something like 80 years old, we would say son of 80 year. This term is also used in reference to animals. We see young bull, son of herd. The animal is taken from the herd. It is the offspring of the herd. And similarly, we see two sons of dove. In this case, it is possible that it refers to a young dove. But as we saw, that is not the only age that it can refer to. It can also refer to people belonging to a general group, such as all son of foreigner, not referring to a specific age, but instead referring to a general class of people, in this case, foreigners. And not only does it refer to literal sons and offspring as we saw, but it can refer to a more figurative sense, such as Israel being my son, my firstborn, the firstborn son being Israel. We see this word is used a few different ways. It can refer to people or animals. We see it can refer to a literal son, a literal immediate descendant, or it can refer to a descendant on down the line, a later descendant, like with sons of Israel. And it can refer to a more figurative son, like we saw with the firstborn son being Israel. It can also refer to a person belonging to a class or a general group, such as we saw with foreigner. And it can refer to age, Like we would say in English, someone was 80 years old, a literal representation of this in the Hebrew might be something like son of 80 year. That it denotes age, but it doesn't just refer to youth. It can refer to any age. What we did not see were connotations of youth, naivete, innocence, and so forth, the qualities that we would associate with youth. We do not see that as a general implication of this term, especially when we're looking at the Torah. That is actually a separate word that is used in the Hebrew that is closer to children in our language. So what we are literally dealing with are the sons of Israel being the descendants of Israel, the descendants of Jacob. We probably shouldn't be deriving much else from that. Just like with any issue of translation, when we're going from one language to another, in this case Hebrew to English, we need to make sure that the interpretations that we are arriving at, the implications that we are deriving from a Hebrew translation into English, we need to make sure that that's actually backed up by the Hebrew. And in this case, we are talking about the literal descendants of Jacob. Thanks for watching, and remember the commands. Shalom.